First, pick a canvas. I choose a 1:1 ratio canvas for this project. Now, open the photo that will serve a background of our composite and put it inside the canvas. After adding the background, we will now add photo of a prism that will serve as a guide in cutting the reflections of the mountains. We will now trace each of the triangles in the prism. Add a new layer. Choose the line tool and change the color into white. Trace the outside of the triangle, not the inside, for we will use this to cut the reflections later. After adding the outline, paint all of the outside with white. Now next to the other triangle, add a new layer. Choose the line tool and paint all the outside of the triangle. Now just repeat it in the next triangle. Now that you are done with tracing, it's now time to put the reflections in place. Delete the layer with the photo of the prism. Copy the background layer and put it below the triangle that will reflect it. Click Transform and rotate the photo to your liking. After that, change the blending mode of the triangle layer. We will now add the highlights for the mirror. Add a new layer and put just above the background layer. choose a paintbrush tool and change the hardness to 9% and paint just outside the triangle. Change the blending mode into lighten and lower the opacity. Merge the three layers that have the reflections, the highlights, and the triangle. After that, erase the excess white paint. Now we are done the first reflection. We will just do it for the other two triangles. Copy the background layer and put it below the triangle layer. Change the blending mode. Rotate the reflection layer. Add a new layer for highlights and paint it white. Change the blending mode into lighten and lower the opacity. And merge the three layers. Now repeat the process for the other triangle. Now we are done with the prism. Next, we will be adding the girl in the composition. Copy the girl layer. Add a new layer and use the paint bucket tool to paint it with white. We will use this to cut the highlights for the girl. Put the white layer below the girl layer, change blending mode into 0 and merge the two layers. For the highlights, choose any color that you like, but here I choose a pink color. Use the paintbrush tool to paint just outside the girl, just like what we did with the highlights in the reflections. Add a new layer and paint it again with white. Put it just below the white cutout girl layer. Now change the blending mode into 0 and merge. And now change blending mode the white paint girl to multiply, and now we have the highlights for the girl. Change the blending mode into lighten and lower the opacity. We will now add the shadows for the girl and the prism. Change the paint color to black. Pick the line tool and paint the back of the girl where the shadows will cast. Now pick the eraser tool, and lower the hardness, and now erase the side of the shadow to a gradient at the sides. Change the blending mode into darken and lower the opacity. Now repeat the process for the shadow of the prism. We will now color the sun. Pick the paintbrush tool and change color. Change the blending mode into screen and lower the opacity. Add a new layer for the gradient. Pick the paintbrush tool and paint the upper side of the canvas with the color that you want. Change the blending mode into lighten and lower the opacity. Add a new layer and paint it with dark color and change the blending mode to darken and lower the opacity. Now we are done.